G'day. F1 2025, it's going to be a ball terror of a season. So let's have a look at my predictions. Who I think is going to win the championship for the drivers' side of things, constructors, who will finish bottom, and we'll have a look at last year's predictions and how I fared. Let's go through last year's predictions. I had this order: Verstappen, Russell, Norris right down the bottom until we get to Kevin Magnussen. 20 drivers. Well, it turns out there weren't 20 drivers. There were 24 by the end of the season. But I did get the winner right, Max Verstappen. I picked him. Let's have a look at the rest of them, and I'll just go through the ones that I got within 2 or 3 places. So Norris I had third, came second. Leclerc, fifth, came third. Hamilton I picked as sixth, came seventh. Alonso, seventh, came ninth. Stroll, picked him as 11th and he was 13th. Gasly, I picked him as 12th and he shone, 10th. And Ocon, 15th, finished 14th. And the other drivers, yeah, I was a bit off the mark. Nico Hülkenberg was my biggest shock. I picked him as second last and he was 11th. Now, this year, let's start with I'm going to go from bottom up. So who do I think is going to finish on the bottom? I think it's going to be Gabriel Bortoleto. Not because he's a lousy driver, but because he's got an ordinary car. At the moment, it certainly looks that way. Second last, Alex Albon in the Williams, 19th. I've gone with Carlos Sainz, 18th, although I'm a little bit sketchy about that because I think he could very well surprise and finish a bit higher up the ladder. Nico Hülkenberg, who did so well last year in Haas, goes back to Sauber, so I think he's going to struggle at the back of the field, so I've put him in 17th. Mick Doohan, 16th with Alpine. Lance Stroll, gone with 15th. And allow me to jump in here and say that these 2025 calendars featuring my best 2024 picks are available right now. From the same website, you'll get these end-of-year books too. That's kimillman.com. Head to the shop and order yours now. Am I predicting any wet races this year? And yes, with 100% certainty, put all your money on it. The Belgian Grand Prix in Spa and the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka every year, without fail, rain, rain, rain. Makes for interesting racing, but it's very uncomfortable to shoot. At 14th, I've got Liam Lawson. A bit worried about this one. He is in a very good car. Well, not the best car, if you judge by last year's standard, but I certainly don't think he'll be challenging Max in any way. Maybe I've got him a bit too low. I'm going to leave it there because I've already made my decision. Above him, I'm going to change this. I'm going to put Isaac Hadjar below. No, I'm going to change 2 of them. So last minute change. I'm going to put Hadjar in 14th. Sonoda in 13th, and I'm going to move Liam up to 12th. Now, I haven't put Franco Colapinto in this list. Do I think he's going to get a drive? I think there's a chance. So maybe I should have put him in somewhere here. But look, I'll leave him out, but I will predict that 2 drivers who start the year won't be there at the end of the year. In 11th place, I've picked Esteban Ocon driving a Haas. He has a female race engineer. For the first time ever, a woman on the pit wall liaising with the driver and the team. This is Laura Mueller. And while on the subject of women in motorsport, I see Hannah Schmitz has been promoted to chief strategist for Red Bull. Before I get to the top 10, I will also say that this year, I'm going to go out on a limb here, Australia will beat the British record for the biggest crowd in 2025. The British race attracted some 480,000 people last year and Australia 452,000. Let's see if Australia can find another, 28,000, and maybe the Silverstone race drops back a couple of thousand. In 10th position, I put my neck on the line here, Oliver Bearman. What do you think? Is it possible? Of course it's possible. In fact, the number of permutations of 1 to 20 is crazy. It's 20 factorial. So as I say every year, no one is ever going to pick the top 20 in the correct order. That's why it's such a simple exercise for me, because mine will be wrong. So will yours. In 9th, Pierre Gasly finished the year very strongly last year, and I think he'll continue on in fine form. Fernando Alonso, he needs some good luck if he's going to finish 8th, because that's where I've put him. And having Fernando in the top 10 is going to pay quite handsomely with the bookmakers because he's not expected to finish there. But that's not stopping me putting him in my top 10. Aston Martin does have Adrian Newey, but I don't think he'll be having any real impact on the 2025 car. George Russell, 7th. In a Mercedes. Just in front of him, Kimi Antonelli. And I'll predict that Kimi becomes the world's youngest F1 race winner. How will that happen? Well, he needs to win either the Melbourne, the Chinese, or the Japanese Grand Prix. They are the first 3 races of the year. If he does that, he will be younger than Max Verstappen was when he set that record going back to 2016. Now, for those of you who are irate about what you think you might have heard, I'll say it again. Kimi Antonelli to become the youngest ever F1 winner, even younger than Max Verstappen if he wins the first 3 races. Of course, the odds of this happening will also be very long. In 5th place, a countryman of mine, Oscar Piastri. There's going to be plenty of competition up the pointy end, and I think 5th is a fair result for Oscar. But I think his chances of finishing higher than that will be buoyed by the fact that he will win the Australian Grand Prix. Bam! Yeah, not Kimi for that one. I'm going to put Oscar Piastri down for that win. And that would be great for the Aussie fans to get a hometown race winner. They had so many opportunities with Daniel Ricciardo, but it just always turned out poorly for the Western Australian driver. In fourth place, the first of the Ferrari drivers. Which one? Charles Leclerc. I think Lewis will finish higher than Charles, primarily because of the fact that I think he'll have a bit more of the might behind him with Ferrari. Certainly, he'll have far more fans. Whether or not that helps you drive better, I'm not sure. But we've seen some crazy reactions to social media posts over the last couple of days with Lewis Hamilton joining Ferrari for the very first time. That leaves me with 3 to go. And on a prediction of a different matter, I will have 500,000 YouTube followers by the end of the year and 750,000 on Instagram. In fact, I could have a whole lot more if you would do me a favour and head over to Instagram and follow me there. And for those of you who have not yet followed me on YouTube, could you please do it now? Just pause this for a second. There's a pause button there, yep. And then hit the subscribe button. I'll be most grateful. Welcome back as we head now to number 3 for my 2025 predictions. You might be surprised to see me put Max Verstappen here. I don't think he's going to get his 5th World Championship. Now, I imagine some of you will be dancing with joy to hear my thoughts on that, and others will be very angry. I take no responsibility for either of those reactions. And before I get down to my top 2, and I've only got Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton left, I'm going to suggest that the F1 movie with Brad Pitt starring will be a runaway hit, and it will introduce millions and millions of new fans to this sport. Now, I know a lot of you don't like the idea of this movie, but equally, I'm sure there are many more people who'll be very excited to see how they treat marrying up a fictional story with real life on the track. And another prediction, me to get an interview with Brad Pitt pre the movie promoting it. Fingers crossed. Wheels are in motion, but a lot of water has to pass under the bridge before that comes to fruition. Now, who have I predicted to take out the 2025 F1 World Drivers' Championship? Lando Norris with Lewis Hamilton, runner-up. I think I'm in with a great chance for Lando to win. I think if he's going to win, this is going to be the year. Everything has led up to this point. I think it'll be a lot harder for him to win in 2026. And Lewis second? Yeah, that might be going out on a limb here. But from my side of things, as a photographer and a YouTuber, it would be great. And for the sport as well. Now, let's go through my predictions for the Constructors Championship. At 10th, Sauber. Can't see them getting off the bottom. Williams 9th. Racing Bulls in 8th. Haas in 7th. Aston Martin 6th. Alpine 5th. So out of those 6, I've really only changed Alpine and Aston Martin around. But now let's go to the top 4. Red Bull in 4th. Mercedes in 3rd. McLaren in 2nd. And Ferrari in 1st. And perhaps that's just a little bit of me wishing for a fairy tale story for Ferrari to have a Constructors' Championship. It's been so long for them, and certainly their fans are well overdue for some good news. But a lot of you will say they need to sort out their strategy. Yeah, maybe they do. Maybe this is the year. So in summary, I've picked Lando Norris to win the Drivers' Championship and Ferrari to win the Constructors. 2 completely different predictions from the actual results of last year when Max won and McLaren took out the Constructors. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button right now and subscribe for those unsubscribed. And for a whole lot of extra content and stuff, this is where you need to have a look. Thanks for watching.
And stay passionate.